Thank you.
Thank you, Dale. Next item, please.
Item E, resolution providing for the condemnation of certain real property for construction of bridge number 642-27-519.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Mike Fessinger, Assistant County Counselor. In front of you is a resolution providing for the condemnation of certain real property for construction of bridge number 642-27-519, project B484. Public Works has acquired all the required right-of-way for the bridge project except for this one parcel.
Mr. Fessinger, can I interrupt you for one moment?
Yes, sir.
First, I want to let the folks know that we're getting ready to lose them from KPTS, but if they want to continue to follow, why they can go online to do that, or they can pick it up later online. But I appreciate them staying with us, but at 1 o'clock we lose them. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we were about ready to lose it. And
Not a problem,
I wanted to
Chairman.
make sure if they wanted to continue to follow, that they know where they could go. Thank
Sure.
you.
This small parcel has, first of all, it's east of the intersection of 95th Street South and Broadway Avenue. It's approximately 3,400 square feet. You've seen maps of this in your briefing. This parcel has held the project up for the bridge for over a year. The bridge itself is in poor condition. It's the lowest rated in the county. It needs to be replaced soon. After extended negotiations with the property owner, Public Works has been unable to reach an agreement in compensation. Public Works now recommends, alongside the County Counselor's Office, that you make a finding that it is necessary to acquire the needed easement through eminent domain proceedings. With that, I'll stand for questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Fessinger? Seeing none, Commissioner O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will move, and I have talked to Mr. Fessinger about this for months on end now, it seems like. So I've also spoken to the property owner, and they're just not being very reasonable and working with the county very well. So unfortunately, will move that we take staff recommended action and move forward on eminent domain on that piece of property.
Thank you. We have a motion. I will second the motion. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Aye.
Commissioner Cruz.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell. Commissioner Meitzner. Chairman Dennis.
Aye. Next item, please.
Item F, resolution to extend the moratorium for certain wind and solar energy zoning applications.
Welcome back, Justin.
Morning, Commissioners. Justin Wagner, Assistant County Counselors. As you'll recall, on February 6th, you adopted a moratorium for zoning applications for wind energy conversion systems and commercial solar energy systems. The stated purpose in that moratorium was included the developing, considering, potentially adopting any regulations or standards for those particular uses. While that moratorium is still effective through August 12th of this year, its provisions indicate that it could be extended by a subsequent resolution, which is what's in front of you today. At this time, the wind and solar regulations have been considered by the Metropolitan Area Planning Commission, and they have made a recommendation on them, but those aren't slated to go before you or the City Council until after August 12th. So the process is still ongoing as for the original moratorium. Also, when both you and the City Council consider those changes, you would have the option of potentially referring the matter back to the Planning Commission, potentially deferring the item for additional information or discussion. As a result, the resolution that you have today proposes extending the moratorium for a time period of up to an additional 90 days, such that the moratorium would be extended to November 10th of this year. But if the adoption of the publication of the zoning code changes occurs at both the city and county level, then the moratorium would automatically terminate upon those publications of actions. The recommended action is to approve the resolution that would extend the moratorium, and action will be taken by a simple majority vote. I'd be happy to stand for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Justin? I appreciate the work that the Planning Department has put into this. We definitely need to be very careful on how that we move forward on this and make sure that everything is done exactly by the book and legally. We understand that because of scheduling, neither the City Council nor the County Commission will be able to take action on this until after the moratorium would normally expire. So therefore, I move that we extend the moratorium for wind and solar energy for 90 days.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Aye.
Commissioner Cruz.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell. Commissioner Meitzner. Chairman Dennis.
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Justin. Thank everybody from planning. Next item, please.
Item G, acceptance of donations totaling $675 for the Suicide Prevention Coalition.
Good afternoon, Joan.
Hey, good afternoon. Joan Tammany with ComCare. I'm here today because we received a total of 8 donations totaling $695 for the Suicide Prevention Coalition from family and friends and loved ones of 2 individuals in our community who died as a result of suicide. These donations are given in honor of Aiden Easley, who also went by the name of Bucky. Bucky was a student at Southeast who sadly took her own life during the school day. And her total donations were for $675. Clearly, she leaves behind a grieving family, friends, and fellow students. The remaining $20 is in memory of Brian Mann. He was a 43-year-old dad and husband for whom we've received and accepted donations for in the past. So I think everybody in here probably agrees that one life lost to suicide is too many, and so we wholeheartedly will apply these donations to the Suicide Prevention Coalition's efforts around suicide prevention education. I just always take the opportunity when we have these type of donations to make sure that we communicate that suicide doesn't know a demographic distinction. Mental illness impacts 1 in 4 at any point in time, and the number of deaths by suicide nationally has continued to rise. I don't know if people saw the paper, but just this weekend, our state also lost a very heavily involved mental health advocate by the name of Eric Hartness. He was a Topeka resident and former pharmacist who battled depression most of his life, and sadly he lost that battle this weekend, again demonstrating that suicide is everybody's business. So I do want to just say that there are resources in the community, including here at ComCare. We have a 24-hour, 7-day facility and phone line for people who call, walk in, or reach out, be it a family member or a person who's struggling. We also have instructors who are trained to teach mental health first aid and assist training to community members, which helps them feel more comfortable identifying when to talk to somebody about suicide or make a referral for services. So I'm here to ask you to acknowledge the donations that have been presented for the Suicide Prevention Coalition and authorize the chairman to sign those letters of appreciation.
Thank you. Any questions for Joan? Well, first of all, we're very honored to accept the donations. It's a tragedy on why that we're receiving the donations. We want to make sure that the public is aware that we have a suicide hotline in ComCare. Veterans have a very high rate of suicide, and VA has a suicide hotline. And we want to make sure that if anyone is having any type of thoughts or knows anyone in their family is having any type of thoughts, that please contact someone so that we can help out these 2 individuals. It's a tragedy that we lost them in our community, but we want to honor them very much. And so I move that we accept the donations and authorize me to sign the letters of appreciation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call roll.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Aye.
Commissioner Cruz.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell. Commissioner Meitzner. Chairman Dennis.
Aye. Next item, please.
Item H, acceptance of donations totaling $500 for the Sedgwick County Community Crisis Center.
Yeah, good morning or good afternoon. This is Joan Tammany again with ComCare. We have another donation. This time the donation is targeted toward ComCare for our hotline. We received, this is not very typical, we received a $500 donation from the senior high youth group from the First Presbyterian Church in El Dorado. The donation was made to ComCare in memory of Kevin Koch. He was an El Dorado resident, 29 years old. He was known for being an incredibly special young man. He graduated from Bethel College with a degree in education. He was known for being a gifted pianist and had strong faith, and was known for being incredibly empathetic and caring. This touching memorial was dedicated to ComCare because Kevin was actually a very good friend of one of our ComCare employees. So when they looked to make a difference, this youth group wanted to make a difference in light of his death. They chose us and the hotline. I spoke earlier about on the previous agenda item that there are resources here in the community. Not only do we have local resources, but there's also a suicide hotline at the national level if people feel uncomfortable calling our number directly. Again, I'm here to ask that you acknowledge the donations and authorize the chairman to sign letters of appreciation.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Joan? Again, just as the previous comments, it's an honor that we accept this in memory. And we appreciate what it can do for the community to help prevent something from happening in the future. So I move that we accept the donation, authorize me to sign the letter of appreciation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Aye.
Commissioner Cruz.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Commissioner Meitzner. Chairman Dennis.
Aye. Next item, please.
Item I, consideration of a grant renewal in the amount of $8,102,168 for COMCARE'S participating community mental health center agreement.
Yeah, Joan Tammany again with ComCare. Not such a sad topic. This is, I'm coming to you for your consideration to accept the grant award, provide us the budget authority requested, and to authorize the chairman to sign all the necessary documents. This particular grant, we consider it a contract, is funding from the Kansas Department of Aging and Disability Services this year in the amount of $8,102,168. It's what's called our Participating Mental Health Center contract, and it occurs annually and is a primary funding contract for ComCare from the state. Just as an awareness, this does not include our crisis bed funding. That's a separate contract. So the agreement describes our responsibilities at Community Mental Health Center. It defines the compensation amount we receive and our reporting obligations that we have to KDADs. The funding pays for infrastructure such as salaries and benefits for the employees that provide the services that we deliver. There aren't very many changes to the contract from previous years other than some language clear up and some clarification purposes. And then there are some changes to our reporting metrics and our reporting forms, which we were all involved in helping define. So the grant award has a positive increase this year of $543,036. I do want to share that ComCare has an excellent reputation for quality care we provide to the community at both the state level and amongst our national peers. We strive to be progressive, to utilize best practices, and we're fortunate to have not only a talented leadership team, but a dedicated workforce that believe in helping others. I want to thank our workforce. This is an opportunity to do that. They work hard every day with people who are struggling. It's hard work, it's difficult work, but it's important and meaningful work for our community and for the people we work with. So I ask that you accept the grant award, authorize budget authority for the funding, and authorize the chairman to sign all necessary documents.
Thank you. Any questions for Joan on this issue? Well, again, we are also very proud of ComCare. You know, there was a study done not too long ago of what ComCare saves the community, and it is a valuable part of what we do. It is also the mission that you have is our number one legislative priority, too. So this is something that's near and dear to each and every one of our hearts because of the impact on the community. So I move that we accept the grant, take the authorized action.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call roll.
Commissioner O'Donnell. Commissioner Cruz. Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Commissioner Meitzner. Chairman Dennis.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. Next item, please.
Item L, reconsideration of item 2 of the minutes of the July 3rd, 2019 meeting of the Board of Bids and Contracts, Architectural and Engineering Services.
All right, Joe, I bet you thought we were never going to get to you.
I had faith. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Joe Thomas, Purchasing Director. As mentioned at last week's meeting, we considered item 2, which was the on-call architectural and engineering services. And at that time, we had recommended 3 of the 6 proposers. Questions ensued and further discussion, and so it was recommended at that time to defer action. Since then, staff has had subsequent discussions with you all, and based on those, we would like to amend the recommendation to read as follows. The recommendation would be to accept all submitted proposals, and that would include Haney and Associates Architects, Crebo Architecture, LK Architecture, Schaefer Johnson Cox Fry Architecture, GLMV Architecture Incorporated, and Spangenberg Phillips Tice Architecture. And this would be at the contracted rates listed, and the contract period would be for 3 years with 2 one-year options to renew. I'll be happy to try to answer any questions you may have, and I recommend approval.
Very good. Questions for Joe? I had a lot of questions last week, but you've answered them subsequent to that. I appreciate the fact that you're giving everyone an opportunity to work issues for Sedgwick County. So I move that we approve the recommendations of the Facilities Project Services.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Aye.
Commissioner Cruz. Commissioner Howell. Commissioner Meitzner. Chairman Dennis.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Next item, please.
Consent agenda.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Commissioners. Tom Stills, County Manager's Office. Recommend approval of consent items N through Q.
Very good. Move to approve November through Quebec.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Aye.
Commissioner Cruz. Commissioner Howell. Commissioner Meitzner. Chairman Dennis.
Aye. Next item, please.
Legislative issues.
Mr. Papoon, you have anything today? No, sir. Well, good. Good decision.
Figure that, please.
Next item, please.
Other.
Any commissioners have anything for other today? I see nothing. There is no reason for an executive session. Does anything need to come before the board before I adjourn? See nothing, we're adjourned. Thank you all for your patience today. We appreciate it.
Meetings.